inspire you, motivate you to really come and help. And the only help I am looking, only 4-letter help that I am looking is, please tell 1 or 2 other people. That's all. We are not asking you to write any checks. No money, nothing. The only thing if you can really provide, the only thing is please give me your time, and if you can pick up the phone, ask 1 or 2 other people that Rodney is there. Just say everybody, that's it. Thank you, Rodney, for all the good things that we have got. Okay, second, let us give a good hand to Carol for all the leadership. She has been involved in this and shows the loop. You see that the man who comes, he lifts all these water and all this thing. Blue is over there. Let's give a good hand to that. And the next one is Helga. Helga is supposed to be here. She was not feeling well yesterday, but she said, I will come. She was not feeling, I said, please, but if she cannot make it, child, let's give it a hand for Helga. She is the person who picks up the phone and calls, and when she can call, she really drafts other people to call. You do not know how difficult it is to get the people here. And I ask only 2 hours once a month. That's all. 2 hours only once a month. That's all I ask. Then we have got a Charles Johnson. You saw Charles. Look at that. He really lifts all the things. He is still extending, and if there are chairs, he will bring the chairs. And also he is almost commissioner of the he is on the commission. Next. No, there are some more, 5 more volunteers are there. No, see, if there is a next one, what happened to my slide? Maybe I have to really, before. Okay, there are 5 other volunteers are there. One of the other ones, he has a Mike Sanchez. Mike is the guy. If you do not get the email, don't tell me. That is his problem, and I will take him to the task. He is the volunteer. This young man, he has not finished the fatal tag, and he is measuring in the computer, and he is trying to really do. He is the guy who sends you all the emails, and those emails, they come over there. And then we have 2 other persons, new people, Helga told me. There is Emily Taylor and Joanne Stencil. Joanne is here. Joanne is here. Thank you, Joanne. She told me that she could not really make phone call. Joanne, welcome to the growing rank, and I still need a couple of more volunteers. That's all I want. If you can give me a couple of hours in the last 2 weeks, that's all I need. Because the next program, June 1, is going to be, I'm going to tell in a minute, is the probably once in a lifetime of program we are going to have. Next. Of course, these are we always repeat these take-home ideas. How many glasses of water you drink. All the research, the doctors and others, they have come back and they all require, and we are going to have more doctors. I have lined up all the 12 glasses of water in 24 hours. If you do that, remember what Dr. Jones says, that from the mouth to the extreme, there is 29 feet of guts. It requires as much water as we, and only water. Why? How many hours of sleep? 7 hours of sleep. Ideal. Third, how many cans of soft drink you should drink? None. That's what I want to hear. Let us make it sure it is 0. Those 20% called liquid calories we don't want. They are the biggest killers are there. So please reduce as slowly as you can. Next, how many fruits and vegetables you eat? Well, just as much as possible that you can have. There is one more probably because of the screen, I think they are not able to come. It's all right. Next. Okay? The next is a June program. June program, because a lot of you ask me, have been asking me, you are not talking about stress. Of course, I am not qualified to talk about stress. So June 1st, please write it down, is going to be a very special program The first hour is going to be a practicing psychiatrist is going to have, oh, you cannot move that. No, there was something, maybe. And in that June program, the practicing psychiatrist is going to talk about the anatomy and physiology of stress. It is a psychiatrist, not some PhD guy. And that is what the why stress happens, how it happens, where it happens, and what the Western science has said. What everybody doesn't have to take Zoloft and all those kind of depressing medicines. And then the second hour is going to be probably once in a lifetime situation. We are blessed to have one of my teachers. He is going to come, he's flying in from India, all the way to India. He lives in the shadow of Himalayas. He comes at least 2 years, every 2 years or 3 years he comes. And he will be here on June 1st. And he will talk the art and science of relaxation. You know, we do all these yogas and other things, you see it. But 9 out of the 10 people think that if we close our eyes, we are relaxing. It doesn't happen. And he will talk what is the difference between a closed mind, open mind, and empty mind. What is a calmness? How you really achieve that calmness? Because if you can, according to the Mayo Clinic, if you can have 10 minutes of calmness, just only 10 minutes of calmness per day, it is almost equal to 3 hours of sleep. But you have to calm your mind. Remember, our restless mind has endless distractions. And how you can physically you can take things, but when it comes to mind, what is it? That will be our June 1st program. Now, I have taken enough of your time. I know that you are waiting. We are going to have a 30 minutes presentation from Dr. our next speaker. Then we will have a 5 minutes of a break for stretching, and then he will finish up, and he is going to hang around here and answer every possible question on anxiety. So let me introduce here, and sometimes it is the most difficult thing if you know a person for 30 years. And you have known him as a family friend and so common and so close. But still let me tell you today I am introducing him as an expert. He is a practicing physician. You know there are physicians are almost like in America. I always, with my association, long association with the hospital, the one thing I learned that American medical system is designed only for one purpose. Writing prescriptions, and if it doesn't cure, have the symptoms. That's all. I have gone to all the clinics and all the hospitals. Nobody really learns a simple thing, an ounce of prevention is better than cure. We know it, we all know it. But here is a physician who really discourages people not to take too many drugs. So without much introduction, let's welcome today's speaker, Dr. Ghanshyam Dwivedi. Okay.
Yeah, I'm emptying his pocket. Thank you for... Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me from the distance. My topic today, as Dr. Gautam said, is about anxiety in medical illness and other aspects of anxiety that I will talk about. Basically, I'm a practicing internist. I'm not a psychiatrist, and that is the next month's program. But I do see a lot of patients with anxiety, and I would say more than 50% of my patients have anxiety problems. And that's the reason why Dr. Gautam asked me to present about anxiety. I think I talk to him off and on the weekends when I see him at the health flex where he exercises, and I have been there as well. And I have talked with him about various patients who have different anxiety problems. And it presents in a different way. As you can read, it has a very high prevalence, about 30% or even more in some places, people feel anxiety. And when it gets so much overwhelming, they come out with the symptoms. Still, I mean, up to a point, most people can survive anxiety. And the reason to come here is basically to educate people so that you all can understand. And if you have a problem, you can know that yes, anxiety is causing this. As you know, anxiety and neurosis is divided into different things. Anxiety is one of that, and it is one of the simpler medical illness, a psychiatric illness, but that translates into a lot of medical problems, and people don't realize that. And the reason, if you understand you have anxiety as a cause for this illness, then you can treat it better. Now, how anxiety is defined? It's an unpleasant state of inner turmoil, often accompanied by somatic, cognitive, and behavioral elements. Now, these are all medical terminology most people may not understand, so I have simplified this. As the somatic is, it has body feelings. You experience through your body what is happening in your body is basically anxiety creating this situation. The next one is cognitive or understanding of your different things, how our brain analyzes everything, or the mental perception. In fact, I was listening to Stephen Hawkins, who's one of the brightest brain on this earth. And if you know of him, he's a Newton chair in London for physics. He explained that all this psychiatric illnesses or anxiety is due to a software flaw. As our computers can have hardware, we all have the same brain, but we have separately. And some people may have a problem with the software. Different anxiety that leads them to have that particular symptoms, and you why is this person different? But if you look at from their point of view, they're suffering from anxiety. Now, to clarify what is anxiety, yes, it is a worry. People worry about various things. And there's usually no valid reason to worry. Things that has not happened. You worry about, oh, this can happen, or this will go wrong. Most likely, nothing will go wrong, and everything will go through. And that's what I think we are trying to clarify for the happiness. Most people worry about things has never happened and never going to, and that's the thing we have no valid reason. As opposed to fear, which people have, that I'm afraid, I have fear. Usually there is something right in front of you, like a tiger or lion standing in front of you. That's a reality, and you have a fear of that thing. So, well, next going into what causes this anxiety. I think I read some of the questions Dr. Gautam sent me, and there are questions regarding stress, what is stress and what causes anxiety. And the difference between that, I think as you see all this, stress is what you experience when you face certain things in your life.
Is it basically what you were expecting to happen and what you received, or what happened really? The difference is the stress. So if you are expecting something to go very easily and then you see that, oh no, it was very difficult, that's the stress. So we face from stress, and that leads to anxiety. Again, in different places and different people express the same anxiety as tension. Now in India, where I'm from, people call tension, not the word anxiety. Here we use anxiety. Again, in different parts of the world, different form. You call it a pressure or nervousness. Now it can lead to things like panic. Now today's presentation is mostly to make you understand that what medical illnesses, like patient comes to me complaining of various things, and basically their problem is not that something wrong with their body. As I said, their body is fine, their software has a problem, and basically their thinking or mind has some difficulties. Now, there are many presentations which I will illustrate, and I think Dr. Gautam asked me about that, and that's why he wanted me to talk about that. I think this is a busy slide, but that tells you about symptoms of anxiety, and that can range from panic disorder, which is very common. Also, you can see phobias, which is a fear. There is an OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder, which leads to people washing their hand 10 times before they touch or anything. There's a big factor in this town is, of course, post-traumatic stress disorder. That is also a part of anxiety. There are many other anxiety problems, and social phobia is written here. People are afraid to meet new people, and that can make us feel, why is this person not talking to me? But they have a problem. The person has a phobia of people. Well, again, another slide showing various symptoms. This can range from palpitation or your heart-related complaints. People can be sweating, trembling, they feel shortness of breath, chest pain, nausea, dizzy, derealization, and fear of losing control, fear of dying. They have paresthesia, which is numbness and tingling sensation, and chills. Now, again, in detail, I will go what exactly all these people experience. Pain is a big factor, and I think here I see a lot of people with pain. In Eastern philosophy, we accept pain as part of our body. We all face with pain. But people don't want to live with pain, or they think that there is always some way you can get rid of. Most of the time, yes, we can, and that's why they come to the doctor to ask why I have pain or what we can do. Majority of the patients that I see who have neck pain or back pain is always, I would say, more than 80% of the patient have stress and anxiety as a factor. So even if you have a disc disease and you get an MRI, which shows that, yes, I have a disc, well, your pain is due to stress, not due to disc, because most patients you pick up here, say if you have 50 people and you do an MRI of their neck or back, you are going to find 20 to 30% having a disc prolapse, but they have never complained of pain. It's only when you have pain you try to find a reason. So don't blame on something. You may have that, but pain is majority of the time due to how you perceive something. Headache is another big thing, and of course, anxiety triggers even migraine. If you haven't had a good night's sleep, which is again due to anxiety, that will trigger headaches. So as I illustrated, most of the causes that I see, and again I'm stressing 50% of the patients with pain, headaches, have majority of them have anxiety. Coming down further to the chest, people have chest pains and they go to the emergency room. I have worked as an emergency room physician, and I have seen that more than 70% of the patients who come there have with chest pain have it due to anxiety. Very few have a really cardiac reason. In fact, I have some friends and some physicians also have presented to the hospital with chest pain, but they were mostly anxiety related. And the next symptom is the shortness of breath. People get sudden breathing problem. That is again anxiety precipitating, and that's like a panic attack, which is an anxiety symptom. Person can experience a pressure or tightness. These are all somatic symptoms, as I said. They come from your body. Your anxiety, which is your mind, controls your body. And I think Andres will illustrate more how your brain, which is your mind, and your body is one together. So that's how you can treat that. Going further down, abdominal pain is very common due to anxiety. It can be in upper abdomen or pelvic area. Women come with pelvic pain, and that can be due to anxiety. Also nausea, vomiting. I have patients who have psychiatric problem and they are exposed to certain things, they start having nausea and vomiting. Other very common illness is IBS. And if a person knows if they suffer from that, they have to run to the bathroom every now and then with diarrhea and stomach pain. Now this happens with anxiety. It is triggered by anxiety. Currently we have no known reason why a person gets IBS, and that's why it's anxiety. Neurological symptoms, yes, you can have a dizziness, even a fainting because of lack of circulation, or even what they see something, suddenly they get faint. Hyperventilation is a symptom, a neurological, because it is expressed through brain. Tremors and shaking is very common. Even I have a dog which starts shaking when he sees or goes to a strange place, and that's a very common reaction. I have seen patients who get suddenly paralyzed. They can't move their side, their arm or leg, and what we call conversion reaction, usually seen in women, sometimes in men, but those are sudden paralysis attacks, and there is no specific thing you can do. They don't have any neurological disease. Their software in the brain is not allowing them to use their part of the organ or limb. Sure, psychosexual disorders, very, very common, and they are anxiety related. Sexual anxiety of all kinds is very common. Many people who have weight gain, and we don't see much here, but weight loss is also a big cause for anxiety. If you are under a stress and you're worried, yes, you're not going to eat, and that leads to anxiety. The other thing I haven't written here, but that's a weight loss due to thyroid disease, and people have anxiety that leads to their thyroid to overwork. And I think this is an old story, but that time when there was a Boston Strangler, not the current Boston tragedy, but at that time there were more incidents of hyperthyroidism triggered by anxiety. Women were worried, and that anxiety caused thyroid to overreact. Now these are what a different thing I'm going to. Medical illness, you have a real disease in your body, a medical problem, which itself can cause anxiety, and that can be related to that particular organ, or it can be related to a different organ. So people having lung disease like COPD, or if they have a heart disease, and that triggers them to have other anxiety related complaints. And those problems are basically worries, anxiety. And actually, if they have COPD, asthma, they get that they can't breathe, that suffocating feeling. But that leads to think that, oh, I'm not going to live, or I'm going to die soon. Most of those medical illnesses can be treated. And nowadays, we have a lot of new drugs and technology to treat so many illnesses. And so I'm trying to reassure that if you have a medical illness, please get that treated so that your anxiety and fear or worry can be less. I think I just added that the spectrum of our brain or our thinking, you can have severe anxieties, and the other end of the spectrum is what we're trying to present, the happiness, as Dr. Gautam always says about happiness. If you can remove the anxiety by any ways, and that's where we'll come to, you can get more happiness. In the treatment part, yes? Yes. Okay, you can. I think before we begin the treatment, I'll just outline that you have to understand and recognize anxiety. And the main treatment for that is, number one, is exercise. So maybe Andres can show us what he can do. Yes, you can, sure.
See, remember our principle is we should not sit on the same chair, same place for more than 40 minutes and then so here is our yoga guru Andre is going to teach you. Very simple, the same stretching, and then that will.
Can everybody realize that? Can you feel it? Now just release it. Now, I'm going to have you go back and forth. And as you do that, you will notice that you start to breathe evenly on both sides. So let's start again. Take your thumb, see the right side. Take a deep breath. Hold that breath. Middle finger, seal the left side, and exhale. Take a deep breath. Hold that breath. Change over. And exhale. Do it again. Inhale deep. Hold it. Change over. And exhale. All right, now release it. How'd that feel? All right. Now, because you have just done that, what you actually did was tune the breathing so you use both sides of your nose. In addition, what you're actually doing is using both sides of your brain for the task instead of just using one side. Now, the next thing that I like to have you do is this: slide forward on your seat. And you're doing this to not only bring the alertness in your mind with the breathing, but to bring the rest of your body in together with the mind and the breathing so that you can have the experience of not only getting the information, but be fully alert as you do that. All right? Cross your forearms. Separate your feet and your knee, and now take a deep breath and bend forward in between your legs. Try to get your elbows in between your legs. You should notice that you're releasing your lower back and your hip. So you're allowing the blood in the lower portion of your extremities to start moving as you come up. Right now you're creating a restriction, and then take a deep breath and sit up. Good. Now we're going to do that 2 more times, right? And you will notice that every time you go down, you will go a little further. And when you come up, it feels a whole lot better, all right? So take a deep breath. And as you exhale, bend forward. Release your lower back and your hip. Take your time, breathe in and out. Do not hold your breath. Just breathe in and out. This time I want you to release your arms and put your hands down. Breathe in and out. Stay down, stay down. Now you're going to raise your left arm. Take a deep breath and raise your left hand above your head. Turn and look to the ceiling. Hold it there. Breathe in and out. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, take that arm down. Let's work on the other side. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, raise your right arm. Look to the ceiling and breathe in and out. Do not hold your breath. Nice and easy. Take a deep breath. Take that arm down. Now raise your head and look forward. And come on up to seated position. Remain forward on your seat. Remain forward. Slide forward on your seat. And now what I want you to do is to interlock your fingers. Place them on the back of your neck. And from that position, just lean back and look to the ceiling. Lean back, lean back, lean back, all the way back. Look to the ceiling and breathe in and out. Do not hold your breath. Very good. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, now lean forward. Come forward. Lean forward. Come forward. Lean forward. Hold that position. Breathe in and out. Do not hold your breath. Breathe in and out. Now take a deep breath and release your fingers and sit up straight. How'd that feel? Oh, got back some of that energy, right? All right, now, what, you okay? One more. Okay, what I want you to do is take your thumb, press it to the inside of your palms. Bring your forefingers around, and now rotate your wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, release and shake it out. And this is the last one now. See it? Interlock your fingers. Turn your palms out. Now look up and raise your hands above your head. Take your time and breathe in and out. Nice and deep. Push up with your hands and breathe in and out. Now take a deep breath. And as you exhale, just release and bring your arms down to your side. That's it for now. Thank you for your time. Namaste.
Now, after Dimitri is going to finish up.
That should work. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Meditation, you know what saying? You must drink your food and eat your water. Drink your food.
I think what Dr. Gautam refers, drink your food. In Spanish, I have a lot of Spanish patients. They always come and translate that I drank my pills, and I think that's what they always tell. Well, I think the treatment, as you already described, how to exercise and all kind of exercises make you feel better, and you can treat your anxiety by that. Relaxation is another big thing which can make your mind reprogram, and you can divert your thinking away from what is causing or what is precipitating. Positive thinking. And in fact, recently I told one of my patients, she always has negative thoughts. I said, go ahead and buy that book of The Power of Positive Thinking, which is an old book, Norman Vincent Peale. And she says, I read it every day, and it gives me a good energy that she can live the life. And of course, be happy that look at the life as a glass as half full. Don't think that my glass is half empty. Another thing is when a physician tells you that there is an anxiety as a cause, which many patients I have seen, they have never been told that this is caused by anxiety. And they keep on going to the doctor and say it's not getting better. If someone does tell you that you have anxiety, you have to accept it. Because if you can't find any medical illness, then the problem is in how it works. And the working is by the software, which is by your mind. If your family or a physician tells you, accept that your problem is anxiety. If you understand if there are any trigger factors which precipitates anxiety, you can try to avoid that. And I think just like food allergies, we have allergies for certain situations in our life. You can avoid many things. The most important thing is if you have anxiety due to certain things which is in this world, we can't change the world. You have to accept it and live with it. So if you cannot change your children or your parents and their thinking and they want to do what they want, but you cannot tell them anything, we have to accept it and live with that. And that's what I just told you. Your relationship can lead to anxiety and you have to accept that. Other causes that can precipitate anxiety is alcohol, tobacco, and other psychotropic drugs. So as I said, just ask for it. Your family and friends can help you, your medical provider can help you, and exercise can help you. Hobbies and time management, that's another big factor. If you're rushing all the time, yes, you will have more anxiety and there's no time to relax. So I would suggest, like what Andre says, you have to find time to relax. Another real thing is exercise and exercise and exercise. Nothing, but that should be the mainstay of your treatment, because there was a Duke University study for anxiety and depression. They found they put 50% of the patient on exercise therapy, the other 50% on medication. After the end of 6 weeks, both groups did equally well. Not that the medicine was better. Then they changed that. They followed those patients for another total period of 3 months. They found that people who were on exercise therapy, they continued to feel better. While those who were on drugs, they were not feeling as good. So I think the main treatment is your body. Relaxation can help you, and yoga is one of that. I think this is a very busy slide. You may not be able to see from distance, but exercise, meditation, and visualization that you can be happy and feel better. Now, even after all these things, if you think the stress or the cause, what is leading to anxiety, is your job, then you can think of changing your job to adapt to your ability. You can add humor, which will help you cope with the anxiety. Sleep is the most important thing. I think nothing goes well in your body if you don't sleep. All the symptoms which I have described earlier can be precipitated if you are not sleeping well. And for sleep, you have to avoid caffeine, tea, and as Dr. Gautam said, no sodas, which is the sugar in the soda, which makes you more agitated and anxious too. Be positive. These are just the general principle I'm saying, but that helps everybody in your life and in your happiness. Be optimistic. Look life as a positive thing that you are on this earth, and avoid any guilt feeling. You have to be a flexible person. You cannot be a rigid person to live with the rest of the people around you. Otherwise, you will be a lonely and you will not like the world and you will create all the things that's happening in this world. People believe their idea is the only idea. No, as in our Sanskrit, we have a saying, tunde tunde matirbinna, meaning every brain has a different idea. And we have to accept and live with that. Other thing is joining people in a team, or when you get together, meet people. That is another thing that leads to happiness. To keep your life in balance, avoid aggressiveness. This can harm your body from head to toe, everywhere. And I think, though my topic was about anxiety, Dr. Gautam asked me about wellness. If you remove anxiety, you get wellness. So your body's ability to constantly change with the environment which you face every day, that leads to a wellness. That is a healthy body. So we have to change with the environment. Of course, what he already pointed from last lecture is what your diet should be. More natural foods, avoid processed foods. Yes, from here my next trip is at the beach, so I need relaxation as well. And meditation, spend some time with that. The responses when you relax to your body is listed here. And the stress removal, stress response, and how your body responds to stress. As you see, if you have more stress, you have breathing rate that goes up, your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, your metabolism goes up, your sugar goes up, adrenaline goes up, and your sensory awareness, meaning you feel the pain more. If you have a little tiny pain, your body will exaggerate all sensation, and that leads to the sensation that, oh yeah, I have a chest pain. You may have a little tiny bit of chest pain, but you experience more. Just like you may have a little tiny headache, but that anxiety makes it bigger because your sensory perception is increased. And all these things can go down if you are relaxed. Of course, all this is without medications, but medical help is available, and we do write medications, and they do help. I would suggest you try all those other things and then add medicine. And just do that. Don't ignore your symptoms. The other thing is, I like this slide that the battery has 2 poles. I would like to be the positive one. That is it for today. If you have any questions now or later.
Okay.
Thank you.
As democratic or republic, whatever you want. We want to make it sure that everybody has a chance on questions. Generally it happens. I remember Dr. Jones was here and some people wanted to ask more than 2 questions. I had to stop. So let's just make it raise your hand and Dr. Davidi will answer. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Sodhi.
Hi. Thank you very much for the nice discourse.
Sure, you're welcome.
Being a busy internist, I'm sure when you have people who are coming with multiple somatic complaints,
Absolutely, yes, we
you
do.
probably have to spend a lot more time
Explaining.
personal
Yes,
energy transfer,
yes.
get that right. So that must be quite taxing on the care.
Well, we have to accept that this is our life, and that's what we are here for, helping
I
others.
appreciate your service.
Thank you, Dr. Sodhi.
Anyone? Don't be hesitant.
I hope most of the questions you send me I have covered in this. So
I hope there were about, I think 14, 15 questions came. If your question have not been answered, because last time I talked to him, he said, yes, I have included the answers of all questions.
Can I make a comment, sir?
Yeah, please.
sure.
This is Dr. Vinod Sodhi. He has been at the Women Hospital. His field of specialization is nuclear medicine. So he has been in practice for more than 30 years also.
This thing is real. It's, we all go through it in one form or other at some point or at one time or other. So admitting is a brave thing to do. That yes, I have the anxiety or I have something resulting from that. And once we admit that, accept it, then there are many, many venues to get help. So I would encourage, everybody who's having struggle with that situation, accept the fact that I have this God-given condition and then work with it. Friends, family, your peers at work, they're all very supportive because again, everybody goes through that same cycle. So, but if you keep it just to yourself, it's not going to help. It is going to make things worse. So do not suppress it, seek help, and then work with the help and be happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andre.
Okay, everyone. Those of you that practice yoga with me, you remember that I mentioned that prior to practicing yoga, I was having heart problems? Right? But in a sense, what I'm talking about, the very same thing that he just brought up and put up on the screen and what he mentioned to me. I was having problems with anxiety, and it was creating problems with heart palpitation, and I was losing it. And this was happening, I think, while I was in the 3rd grade. Can you imagine a kid in the 3rd grade having problems with anxiety, and the parents didn't really understand? My parents would take me to the doctors, and when they explained what happened, I was fine because my parents was with me, and I had their attention. But as soon as we went back to a regular family routine, guess what? The situation changed, and I was having problems with my heart. Luckily for me, I was sent to a school where I picked up yoga from my Boy Scout leader. And that opened the door for me. So some of the exercises that we're doing with our breathing and bringing your attention inward, that's the way I learned, that's the way I was taught to deal with anxiety. By bringing my body and my mind together. Everybody see it? That's it. Thanks. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The idea that anxiety can be almost, I guess, passed along as a family trait, is that true or?
Well, the question is, can anxiety be passed as a family trait? A child growing up, as I just mentioned, has seen the mother or father having anxiety. So that same trait is passed on by observation. Not that their brain has any defect. They have seen that this is what you do when this happens. So you understand, basically your brain is programmed at that minute when the mother is having an anxiety attack.
So it's not a software issue that.
No, it's software in the sense that, yes, the programming happened that time. Yes. So it's not a defect in the brain in the sense of anatomical problem, but it is that you have been told to do this way when you face certain stressful situations. So you react to that.
So it's more nurture than nature?
Nurture than nature. Yeah, that's a question.
That makes me feel guilty.
And I see many patients, and I have seen families who come like that, the mother or father has, and the daughter comes with the same symptom. And then I have patients who have 3 generations, every 3 All three generations have the same problem.
Well, that's what happens
Yes.
in my family, and, you know, some of my relatives have actually said it must be passed along genetically or something, and we've never gotten a straight answer to that.
Yes.
So it's nurture, not nature.
What you experience is your nurture.
Shouldn't pay so much attention to it.
That's right. Okay. We have got to break, but just I want to make sure that if you have any questions, that I want to go ahead and that can benefit some other people. It's not only a question for you. Maybe something that you want, but do not forget that anxiety is an equal opportunity illness. We all suffer without being heavily breathing. The only thing I will say what I have read, and I will tell you my addiction is to reading. And I have read several articles, and that's the reason I like my friends and we really come to talk about. But I will hear my dialogue later on, but at this time the floor belongs to him. Any questions? Just simple raise your hand. What are the simple or serious questions? I always used to tell my students the only dumb question is the one in the class. Yes, please.
Is there an association between anxiety and depression?
Yes. Very good question. That's it. Did you hear the question?
The question is there a relationship between anxiety and depression? Yes, very much. Anxiety is usually a beginning which leads to depression. And the medications which we use for depression, they are the same which can be used for anxiety. Each way, both of them are very much related.
Ready? Yes.
Yeah, the question is if you are faced with anxiety causing problems and your coworkers or your family gives you problems. And I think if you look at the slide I presented, it showed that if you have problems like this, you have to change. You cannot change the world. Person himself has to accept that this person is like that and we have to live with that. There is no way you can change that person in any way. You can tell 100 times, but the way will not change. You have to change. That's the answer.
Did you hear that? The answer is because you can't change your coworkers. And especially when it comes to relative, that's why I have called relative. Absolute, they are not absolute, they are relative. And since they are relative, they are all, that's why I said, thank God for my friends. Because relatives are, they come to their body. Nephews and nieces and sisters and but friends you can pick and choose. So the best way if I can pick up my friends. Remember in one of program I discussed about that there are energy providing friends and energy draining friends.
Yeah.
There are friends they will talk to you almost non-stop and after 20-30 minutes you feel so drained out and so depressed. You don't want to do anything, you just want to go to bed or maybe just hide about something. And then you can have some good friend who can really cheer you up. Some of you come to a health taxi in the morning, 90 or maybe 85% people I say good morning, they are okay. But I still run into some people, that I can't really put the smile from their teeth, almost like I have to have scissors. So good morning, how are you? They are always, and I, good morning, morning.
You know, you covered it. I was going to say, changing your social support group. It's people you socialize with. That was one of the things that I had to learn also. Change the group of people I hanged out with, and I went to people who were supporting me to be healthy. Like we're trying to do here. Give you enough information so that you can be aware of what is holding you back, and you can change your social support group.
Especially those Friday 9 o'clock class, easy that you will feel come out really, really refreshed, physically and mentally. Yes, please. Yes, go ahead.
You have to start somewhere. And believe me, even if you are tired, yeah, the question was how you can start all these things or where to start when you are faced with anxiety, tiredness. And again, fatigue and tiredness is a symptom of anxiety. So you have to start somewhere in your life, and you can ask your family or friends to take you to somewhere where you can start exercising. And you have to have some help with that. You can come to the yoga every day.
I want you to stand on your head and you forget about your problem.
And if you exercise or do any kind of yoga or any other exercise, it does give you energy. I have patients who come and ask me every day, what can I take to get more energy? And I have only one answer. That's exercise. No, I don't have any vitamins or any magic pills which can make you run a marathon or participate in Olympics. Yes, they do take some enhancing drugs, some of them, but basically energy comes from using the energy or utilizing what you have. And you can add it up by exercising more and more gradually.
Okay, there is one question more, and after that we'll take a break, 10 minutes, then he will come back and answer a few questions, then we'll have a magic moment, then my talk. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes.
Last question, then we'll take a break, 10 minutes break.
I have a question. I'm not really sure how to get it together though. There are two, I guess, scenarios, I guess you would say, involving the medical question, I suppose. The change of life and like a patient going to the doctor. Sometimes blood pressure goes up. You've heard of that? Yeah, yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, the question is was it related to the change of life or menopause, or your question is that why?
Whatever that's going on, that could be a factor.
Yeah, so there are two questions in there. One is regarding the menopause or change of life. And the second question is why your blood pressure goes up when you go to a doctor's office. So I think your brain responds to various hormones. And if you don't have, or if you have less hormones as that happens, when you are undergoing menopause, your estrogen hormones go down. So you're no more able to do certain activities, or you feel depressed, because as you have seen children growing up, when they reach puberty, suddenly they change. The same thing happens when you go through menopause, you again change. That's a change in the life. So because of the hormonal changes, people experience that. And to get rid of that, again, the treatment is exercise.
So it's just
Yes.
change of
Hormones.
and personal.
Yes, the other question was the blood pressure, why it goes up.
But it seems like that would be it would time to change your mindset, your activities, things like that. Is there anything else that you could be, maybe some vitamins or whatever?
I think I just answered whether you can take vitamins. No, there's a lot of vitamins at the GNC and all those vitamin shops. It's a billions of dollar industry. None of the vitamin, none of that, even if you pay $100, it does not make your anxiety go away. And don't add all those nutrition things, because yes, good nutrition is important, but when you do nutritional additives, majority of them, except there is a few things like tryptophan. They sell tryptophan at GNC, which is an amino acid which is converted into serotonin, which is our pleasure hormone, pleasure chemical, which makes us feel better. Tryptophan has helped some people, that is known. But that's why good nutrition is important, not adding vitamins.
Okay, tryptophan, how do you spell it?
Okay. Are you okay?
Yes.
Tryptophan is Tryptophan. Tryptophan.
Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break. We'll come back. Dr. Dwivedi will answer maybe a couple of more questions. Then we'll have a magic of music.
Yeah,
And then my
I
comment.
want to ask
Let's take a break.
No? Okay. Oh, yes, please.
I wanted you to answer the blood pressure question when you see a doctor in the doctor's office.
Yeah, the question is why your blood pressure go up when you are in the doctor's office. I think I had one gentleman who came here and told me about how he got rid of it. And that is, he checks his blood pressure every day now. So he's not afraid when they put the blood pressure cuff at the doctor's office. It's your anxiety which leads you to secrete the hormone, epinephrine, which stimulates the heart, makes your blood vessel narrow. So that leads to high blood pressure. So if you are more relaxed and calm, and then accept that this is what is going to happen, then you are more calm and relaxed in your blood pressure. And that's the response you will see in that patient when they face any anxiety or stress, not just at the doctor's office.
Okay, yes, please, Joanne.
And before I know that she's going to do it, I visualize that I'm walking on the beach, the same thing and toes, and then it's just in a different place. And then, but if I don't do that, mine is always flat and then I'm like,
Okay, did you see what
what was she trying to do?
she just said that whenever she goes to the doctor, her blood pressure is always high, but she tries to use the software in the mind and start dreaming about the beaches or the beautiful places, the relaxed places. And there's a relaxation that will start going.
So you're desensitizing yourself and you're thinking, diverting your mind into something which is a good feeling. Yes, that's a good way to lower your blood pressure.
Exactly, that's it. Okay, any other questions? Yes, Julie.
Now, if you have anxiety and you have to live with the person who has anxiety, you just try to avoid that person or what? Because both of you have anxiety.
I think if you have an everyday situation,
The question was that if you have anxiety,
if you have anxiety or some person gives you an anxiety every day, that is the question.
The person who lives with you has anxiety.
Okay, the other person.
You go away from them or,
I think to be an altruist, if you want to help somebody, you can propagate your positive thoughts. That is your job, I would suggest. But we were trying to change the negative to positive, how you can. It's very difficult if they have negative ideas and difficult, but they have to accept that that's what their problem is. If they don't accept that problem, then there is no way you can change them. Does that person realize that there is a problem? They do not realize. Well, then there is a hope that they can change. That they can do all these things like this, exercise and everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause. For your hard work and all the dedication, here is a little work of mine. Okay, all right. Maybe at least that can help. Okay, let's give him a little. Now, all of you, I remember I promised Mike wanted to make sure that I announce if you have attended all 5 sessions, today is the 5th one, then in June 1st you will be given this book completely free of charge. You don't have to pay anything. And he will have the email sent to you, or before you go you can check out have you attended all 5 sessions. If you have attended 4, you attend June 1, you still will get it full. Otherwise you have to attend, until you attend 5 sessions, that entitles you for this book, okay?
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Gautam, and thank you for the book. All
Thank
of you,
you.
thanks everybody for coming.
Since the time is short, we will have almost 5 minutes for audience. Go ahead.
Okay, are we ready? Yeah. We got 5 minutes. Remember I said I was having problems with my heart palpitations, losing control? That was because in my home, my parents were separated. And I, being the youngest member of the family, I was most affected by it. I had tried to keep my family together, and that was creating a problem for me. Now, one of the things that worked for me, and I like to share it with you, was the breathing exercise, part of the breathing exercise you did earlier. Now, I'm going to ask you to breathe in a different pattern. I want you to inhale at a count of 5, hold your breath for a count of 5, and then exhale at a count of 5. Your objective, when you hold your breath, pay attention, you should be able to feel your heartbeat. Everybody got it? Now, settle down, close your eyes, and inhale. Hold that breath, pay attention for your heartbeat. Exhale. Let's do it again, inhale. Hold that breath. Exhale. Once more, inhale. Hold that breath. Now exhale slowly. All right, now please open your eyes. Could you feel your heartbeat? Good. Now, remember Doc said that, one, you try to deal with the person, talk to the person, have the person recognize what he or she is doing, right? Now, that's a simple task that you just did. Just inhale 5, hold it for 5, exhale 5. But the 5 seconds that you took to listen to your heart makes a difference. Some of you may have noticed that the first time you try to hear your heartbeat, it came a little easy, right? But the second time, you have to focus a little harder, right? Whenever you by yourself, try this. And the reason is this. When you start to breathe in that way, and you pay attention to your heart slows down and it comes to a normal heartbeat. In addition, you and I, the first sound that we could hear when we were inside of our mother's stomach was a heartbeat. When mom's stressed out, the baby's stressed out, and the baby moves around, yeah? Female can relate to that. You guys, we out of business. All right? But as you learn to settle down, that applies to every one of us. We find common ground. And here's what I'm talking about. Get 2 kids. One who speaks Spanish, one speaks Chinese, one speaks English. You put them to play together, and guess what? They're listening to the two of them play. Fun, laughing. They get to about a teenager, and then they start having problems, mental problems. Everybody see what I'm saying? Once we find a common ground, stress goes away. So now the word yoga means to yoke, to bring together. When you bring together your body, your mind, and your soul, you find peace. Why? Because you understand yourself. And no matter what's going on in the world around you, you can always come within and find that peace. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Practice it. Try it. Just breathe in and out and you will see it. It works. Now, if you cannot find peace within yourself, you cannot find peace with another individual, no matter what you do. And the thing about it, we all want peace. That's what yoga is all about. Helping you to find your peace so that you can share it with somebody else. Now, I made fun about putting this stand in your head because I just wanted you to laugh, right? And some of you will think that, oh, he's going to put me to stand on my head. I can't do that even. Start having your little anxiety about that, right? I promise that I will not have you do anything that is not going to help you to progress. So standing on your head is not something to worry about. Making that step forward is what's important. If you want to get somewhere, you got to take that step forward. Everybody got that? Continue to come to these sessions. Come to the help place. And every time you ignore me, I'm going to give you a big hug. Give you a hug and you realize, hey, we're here. Get rid of that anxiety. We're here to enjoy each other. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Now, how much more time are you going to give me? 2 minutes. Here's what I want you to do. You're going to breathe. See it? Look. I push my stomach out. Pull it in. Now look at this. Now stop. Settle down a bit. Can you feel a change in your body? We're going to speed this up a little bit. And when we slow down, you'll feel another change. You've got to feel the change within. Don't let your mind just take you anywhere. Because once you get caught up in the news and all the things that happen outside of you that you have no control of, guess what? The result is what? Anxiety and stress, right? So now let's put that energy right here. And we're going to speed it up this time. Are you ready? Let's go. Take a deep breath and release it slowly. Let's do it again. Let's go. Take a deep breath. Release it slowly. Last time. Give it up. Take a deep breath. How it feels? Hey. You got it? That's it?
We have got about 23 minutes or maybe 21 minutes. I'm asking about 18 minutes of my presentation. I'm going to, can you hear it or not? In the back? Valerie, can you hear it? Hey, can you hear in the back? Ken? You can hear. Okay. Just. It's not coming out of the speaker. It's not that the speaker is not on?
I don't know if the microphone is on.
Okay. Maybe where is our mic? He has to see. But anyway, if you can hear it, that's fine. What I was going to talk about giving is receiving. If time remains, I will talk to you. But last week, this time, I was in Atlanta. People call Hotlanta, whatever that is. There was a convention. It was a convention. I hope that slide comes. Teresa, you want to see? If that is my stick, I'm pretty sure. Okay. This was a convention, and this was a convention of entrepreneurs. Do you know who are the entrepreneurs? Let me tell, because I taught all my life entrepreneurship, and I always used to give them a simple example to my student. These are college students, and I said there are 3 ways to become rich in America. 3 ways. The first and easiest way to get rich is marry the person who has inherited billions of dollars. Or at least millions of dollars. You know, if you know that her father or his father really has so much real estate around Fayetteville or whatever that, so that is the easiest way. But most of those marriages don't last. Okay, so that is it. The second is called what Warren Buffett calls is the womb selection. Pray, if you believe in incarnation or something, you just pray that in my next life I should be born with a mother, or the husband, the parents who really have a lot of money. You know, Rockefellers or Ford or something like whatever that is. So these are the two. But the way 80 to 90% of the people in America they become entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the people, I can talk for hours, but since we don't have time, we are having, Citrisa, if you can help, say the important part, the most important thing that why entrepreneurs, and these are the people I can talk, what really brought the mankind from the steam engine to search engine. You have heard 3 people that they never finished the college and they all are today billionaire. They did not start as billionaire. Everybody knows about Microsoft's Bill Gates, right? The second one everybody knows is called Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs never attended even for just more than a couple of days his college. And third was Michael Dell. But the list, this was the list I used to teach in the 80s. But if you see 90s, especially the 90s, I can quote days after days the Wall Street Journal used to publish the story that here are the kids, they don't have a driver license, but they are already millionaires. And I met a lot of those kids, even today. Today in this world, including America, means some of the kids are outside America. There are more than 10,000 kids are writing something called apps. You know, they are called applications for your that phone. And these are high school kids. And the important, so therefore what they try to do, they write the application, then maybe a company like Apple or Google or one of those kind of the things that they really try to do, and that those things are done. So here was a crowd from all the way from South Carolina to Florida. Some of the people came in the jets, flying there in their own jets. I remember these people came to America just like me or like most of the immigrants. In this country, each year, 1.5 million people, they come legally, and then there is almost same, they come illegally. And the only reason they come, because they come for the called American dream. They all come without. The only thing they have got, most of them don't have anything more than a couple of dollars and some clothes that they are wearing. But they all have a dream that America is a land of opportunity. If you really have an idea and you really know how the process works, anybody and everybody can become millionaire, at least millionaire, if not more. See, millionaires are nowadays dime a dozen. The only thing different about billionaires is there is a magazine called Forbes. If any one of you know, if you have not, Forbes magazine each year publishes the 400 richest men in the world. Up to 10 years back, 95 to 98% billionaires, at least 90% billionaires, they were all Americans. Few were from Europe, maybe them. But in the last 5-10 years, the number has changed. The world's richest person is not an American. Anybody knows who is the world's richest person? He lives just across from America.
Mexican, that's Carlos Sims. And he was born poor. So the entrepreneurship is what I simply in one line I define. Entrepreneurship people are means these are the, because Almighty God has been very generous. Equal opportunity. We all are given creative geniuses. But it is only 0.0001% people use that genius. Creative genius. We can have jobs. See now, when you talk about America, in America has a, who is poor according to the latest definition of federal government? If your family of 3 is making 19,000 is classified poor. A family of 4, 25,000. And they are counted in the 10% richest people on the world. Because out of the 7 billion people in this world, 90% people don't make $25,000 a year. So this was a group. If I just slide that, this was a group. So all these they came, and the title of this conference was The Super Entrepreneur, the Relentless Pursuit of Success. Why in the world they invited me? They read about my book or something, reviews of something book, and they wanted to see, because I don't talk too much on success. My talk is happiness. And my simple thesis was, my title of my talk was, Success and Happiness, which should come first? It is an age-old dilemma. Everybody. So when that thing that really started, the question was really, what is a success? Now, I don't have to really define success. We all know, we have the norms, we know it. If I'm driving a Volkswagen and if my friend is driving a Mercedes, the society thinks he is a more successful person. That's why he could afford Mercedes. If I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment and he's living in a mansion of 16 rooms, I don't have to tell. Everybody knows he's a successful. So success, but the success according to the expert is not a destination. What is a success? Success is a journey. And my talk really opened is that on success, on this journey, the happiness is hijacked by our compulsive and obsessive attachment to success. That is my gist, that is my essence. And if you give me 10 more minutes and these slides, they work, then see how the technology they try to work. But I'm pretty sure, I have tremendous confidence, Rodney will try to work it out and it will work. So it will be according to the time. I still have about 12 minutes. In 12 minutes, I can show you those 18 slides. So the important point that I wanted to really, let us start our discussion. The discussion, the debate is in success versus happiness. All entrepreneurs, they try for success. They leave no stone unturned. Why we talk about Bill Gates, we don't talk about somebody else? The simple answer is that Bill Gates made billions, whereas the other entrepreneur did not make it. Okay? So therefore, what I really told them, the first thing I said, how the important part of the happiness is hijacked. And my simple idea is, and I hope you like this idea, and this idea you can really, it takes a lot of explaining, which we don't have the time. What happens is that when you are in a success-oriented person, your focus is not on action, it is on activity. I repeat the sentence. It's very tough to understand. It takes a long time. And that's why I have to give you a couple of examples. And one of the easiest example I did, because we all sign up to go to the Healthplex or gym or whatever the place we want to go. What is our action? That action means what is the focus? Because in a focus that we want to really try to do, we want to get the health. Do you know that out of 10 people they sign up for a health and gym, 9 people don't continue even 6 months? 9. Just like take an example. This program we have been doing, the other day I was asking Mike, and Mike said there are over 500 people have gone through this one. But the regular people, remember, that's the reason I said these 5 things. That if it is possible, did you get it? Oh, this is the conference. Okay, so this is the conference, that the super entrepreneur, the relentless pursuit of success. Okay, next, let us go fast. Okay, the first thing that is successful, that when you are really looking where you try to do, and either you ask for success or you aspire for success, and their all focus is on aim to achieve success. Next. So we try to do from A to Z, all the success stories. A is Amazon. I give them example because those people, they understand. Look what has happened. Amazon has created. You all know about Amazon's story. Jeff Bezos, married with his newly married wife, crosses from New York to all the way to Seattle, and just goes there and start. And look what they have changed the world. Who could really think in 1990 that people will be buying the books not from bookstore but from Amazon? Who would be really thinking in 1990 or even 2000 that people will not be going to the record store to buy the books and the music? They will be all downloading from iTunes. Today 90% of the music is downloaded from iTunes. So the same thing about, remember Sam Walton. Sam Walton used to work at J.C. Penney. He left that. When all big stores they were opening in the big cities, Sam Walton goes and opens the Walmart in the smallest areas. And when he died, he left billions of dollars. So they all try to work on it, okay? So then the success, but in all that process, the byproduct of success always happens to be a stress. Stress is the inevitable consequence of the success. And why it happens is probably because most of the time the success-oriented people are really looking for results rather than doing that job very happily. And that's why it is important, the people who have been like Edison, remember this study, you start off any of those earlier inventors and earlier entrepreneurs, they were keep on working. There was a joy in discovering something. But in the last 10 years and 15 years, especially the advent of internet, look at the people are so connected. Connected to what? Maybe connected to loneliness. People can't get away from that phone. People can't get away from the email. People can't get away from. And most of the time, that's why focus is that on the results. That's next. So the stress is there. Next, our time is there. What happens is that most of the time what we are really looking when we are very much stressed, what people do? Look for information. And now information is a commodity. Those days are gone. When I remember most of us when we were in high school, we used to go to encyclopedia. Do you know where encyclopedia is? Maybe in some garbage someplace. Nobody wants to even get, there are a lot of people who want to give away. That iPhone has everything that what you want to know. And remember the word called Google? Google it. There is not a thing. The other day I was looking for some zip code. Just I put Google zip code and it didn't take even 10 seconds. The zip code was there. Any mundane thing. Just like you were talking about blood pressure. If you talk on the blood pressure under the white coat, there must be about 50 articles that Google can really produce you. And then there are medical side, WebMD and all those doctors.com and all those things. So information has become a commodity. It's not a kind of the thing. And the second thing is information overload. According to somewhere I was reading that in 24 hours we get 28,000 words are bombarded in us by the radio, by the TV, by the talk, by the music. And after all, our, just as Dr. Dave says that our hard drive or soft drives that we have, God gave us the hard drive but also soft drive that is get so overloaded that sometimes we cannot really. So information overload next. I think that is it next. So what is really happens is that the people who are interested in success, what happens is there is a more interest in symbols than the substance. I was telling you about the Healthplex. I was one of those guys I used to talk about most of the time. People go to Healthplex, but a very large number of the people are spending more time at juice bar than they will be spending in doing exercises. Which is a very, but it's all right. There are people, they spend 3 hours, 4 hours, so that's all right. But that out of that, maybe about 1 hour doing exercise, the rest of the 3 hours in doing something else. So as long as that those symbols are there, the same things happens on success. This is as long as we have the impression that if he is driving Mercedes, he gets more satisfaction or happiness out of it, and since I am driving the Volkswagen, I am getting less. To get that Mercedes, to maintain that Mercedes, to keep on that Mercedes, he has to go through lots of what Gandhi used to say, strenuous situations. Remember the word keeping up with the Joneses? If my neighbor has 2 color TVs, I want to have 3. So that is stress, that almost. So as long as our attachments are to the symbols, not to the substance. If happiness is really, if we are not, that's the reason we are talking in this program. Happiness has to be something that you realize. I don't have that slide, but in there I use the slide of Shakespeare. And Shakespeare uses, there is some of you might have read, it's called As You Like It. And he says, oh, what a terrible thing to see the happiness from someone else's eyes. What are the classical things? Okay, next. I think this is that. I like this. Whenever I'm doing exercise, I like this show. In Healthplex, they don't have a noise, just most of the time when you are seeing that I'm looking, and I laugh a lot. When you see this, when they are coming, all those, when their names are Susie, and the guy is calling, and they are jumping all. Yesterday's show, there was kids were also coming, all jumping all. And then they show the car or blender or whatever it is there, and they all say, and then they don't know what is the price of the car or whatever that is there. And then they start, and then there are all the audiences asking 3, 4, 5, and all. And ultimately they don't win. And you see that. Because their happiness is not themselves. Their happiness is in that car or that Walt Disney vacations. As long as the happiness is going to lie in those symbols, you may be a billionaire. That's why does it happen that we have a more miserable millionaires? At least I personally met in my entrepreneurship experience. I used to think that these people have all the money. They have wonderful those houses and others. And the reason is that as long as the attachment to that next. So action and activity we talk next. So now the reason that happens is that we have, when we are pursuing the success, one of the worst thing that happens is obsessive compulsive attachment to, and I asked them, most of them, but for a lot of people they thought people, car, attachment. I said, no, for the successful people, the answer is compulsive, obsessive attachment to results. If you are running a go, just like anybody knows, if you have been following a company called Apple, right after the death of Apple, when Steve Jobs came back in 1995 to survive that company, the company was almost going to be bankrupt with a couple of weeks. Then he tried to brought it up, and remember in 2007 in this world, there were only about a little over 1 billion people had the phone. And in 2007, Apple came out with the iPhone. Of course, 2000 they came with the iPod and all that. And today there are 5 billion people in this world have the phones. The miraculous achievement, results. The stock which was, when he came, was $8 or $9. Last year was selling over $700. And somehow just happened, the Wall Street people, they just say, oh, no, Apple doesn't have any more new things coming out. Do you know what happened this year? The stock came down to only 400. So as long as we the compulsive attachment, everybody starts, some of the people say, fire the CEO, fire that. So in most of the time, the most successful entrepreneur, just like what is happening to Dell, there was a time Dell came out from nowhere. And I talked to all these entrepreneurs in that audience. I said, you all are those successful people. You flew in your own jet. You have all that. But you also know that in this world, today you are the darling of the Wall Street, and tomorrow you can be the biggest disappointment. Anytime you can fall from the edge of this successful world. And when that happens, you have nothing else but unhappiness there. Next. And that's why the important is that we try to really work very hard for our standard. This is another way to differentiate activity and action. We all try to improve our standard of living. There's no country in the world that I know where there are 70% people have the car. It is only America. 65% people have houses. Nobody. 95% people have phones. This is only in America. And that's the way we measure our standard of living. Standard of living means how much we have. What are our possessions, material possessions. So that is like our average house in America is almost close to about 2,800 square feet. Average house even in Europe is less than half of that size. And of course in third world it is only, if you have a roof over your head, then you are living or breathing. So it is not that standard of living is material possessions. But next, what we have to talk, what Gandhi used to say, standard of life. And that requires what Einstein used to say, you cannot be a man of success if you are not a man of value. The people who are always remembered in the pages of history are the people who really watch for a standard of life rather than a standard of living. Okay, our time is, so therefore I ended my talk on the question, and for that one is a very simple process. It is not easy, simple process. It is difficult. And the answer to that one is you got to really start, who am I? When you are working in the office, you are a husband. No, you are not husband. You are a worker. You are a boss. You are an employee, just like she was raising question. But when you come home, do you bring your office home? What are the really, who are you? And the important is, can you really, that's what Andre was telling, if you can really take in yoga. One of the important things, that's the reason of our next program is just, can you take 10 minutes? Just 10 minutes a day in 24 hours. And quieten your mind. And see, who am I? If you are really thinking about your name, you are thinking about your possession, you are thinking your nationality, you are thinking about your job, you are thinking about your profession, you are thinking about your... No, who are you? Who am I? And then you will really start seeing that your mind will not be cluttered with all the unnecessary things that are really burdening and causing our unhappiness. And after my presentation, there were a lot of people. I have to go give some more talks. But thank you very much for this presentation. But I could not really talk to you more about giving, but we will have next time. Okay, so next month just that is something else. It's already 2 minutes to 11, so we got to finish at 11. But our next program is going to be on June 1st, Saturday, June 1st. And it is going to be, the first part of the program is going to be a psychiatrist, professional psychiatrist in this town, and going to talk about anatomy, physiology, biological, and all aspects what Dr. Dwivedi has really almost pioneered. That professional, that doctor, physician is going to tell what is stress and what are these. He's no more medicines. No, you can ask if you are on any kind of those things. And then we will have our yoga guru will talk about break or during those magic of movements. And then the last hour is going to be my teacher who is flying from India. He's going to talk about art and science of relaxation. And that does not require any apparatus or you don't have to buy any sports suit or anything. You just simply have to learn how to quieten your mind. You know, one of the people always talk about this December, my wife and I, we visited a place where good Buddha, Buddhism is the largest religion in the world. So when Buddha came, right after getting the enlightenment, and he was under the tree and forest, and when he came, and he just sat down, he has the first 5 disciples. And the question was that, what did he talk? He did not talk anything. And he sat there and quiet, close eyes. Closing eyes is not a quieting mind. You have to really get that mind as empty as possible. So all this cluttering is gone. And he is going to talk briefly about the steps that you can take, how you can lighten up yourself. It's not physical, but it is a mental, what kind of exercises you can do. Okay? Hopefully you can bring a friend. The only thing I'm asking you, please bring at least one more friend. And so hopefully we can have a lot more people, they can benefit from it. Okay? Thank you very much for coming.